Hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to another episode of The Ayurvedic Therapist. I want to talk to you about difficult people this week. And this came up because what I am observing around me and with my clients who are coming to me is more and more all these empaths and all these empathetic people and all these beautiful people who have to change their lives, learn new techniques, maneuver over, and walk on eggshells around these difficult people. And it's a real problem in our society. So it is true that 1 in every 4 people in North America is some kind of a narcissist. And so I haven't been using the term narcissist because I feel like it has been thrown around the internet and social media and the politics, like left, right, and center. And as a therapist, this can be a diagnosis. And I don't like diagnosing people with stuff at all. But according to the book of the DSM book, the definition of a narcissistic personality disorder is a person who has a pattern of grandiosity and needs admiration, and they have a lack of empathy. So it's really important to understand that narcissism is not just a disorder. It actually has a spectrum. So there are different levels and different types of narcissism. And if that topic interests you, I'm going to highly recommend and this is what I recommend to all my clients if they're really dealing with that narcissistic person, to go to Dr. Ramani's books and work on YouTube. But for now, let's talk about these kind of spectrum of narcissism, different levels of narcissism, different levels of sense of, I am the center of the universe and you're going to do what I say, and that's how it's going to be type of people, which we are going to call difficult people. Okay? So let's call them difficult people. So, unfortunately, as I was saying, in North America, this kind of way of being is really advertised as the good way of being. So as a person who moved to North America from a completely different place on the planet, when I first arrived in North America, one thing that I noticed was the sense of entitlement in people. And yes, it was shocking, and it was the lack of empathy was truly shocking for someone that comes in from the outside. Now, I do think that this is kind of a worldly problem because of social media. It's like spreading all over the place. But again, the Western culture really encourages it, whereas in the Eastern cultures, there's a bit of still, the traditions of empathy and taking care of each other and family-oriented ways of being is still there. So in the West, as we can see, like with the Hollywood culture and social media culture and TikTok and whatever else, we are encouraged to look a certain way, act a certain way, and we make that the most important thing. Narcissism is not something that we are born with. Nobody is born a narcissist. Narcissism is something that is created, and specifically in childhood, from the years that the child is very small, like maybe 2 to 8, 9, 10, are the years that the child learns to be a narcissist from their parental figure. So there are all sorts of books and ways to look into how not to do that to your children. So please go ahead and read those if you have small children. But for now, I just want you to have an overall understanding that these difficult people are often actually very, very weak people whose needs as children have not been met, who have learned to manipulate in order to get what they need or what they want. So perhaps by thinking about it that way, we can just have a little bit of empathy and compassion for these individuals. Having compassion and understanding where these individuals come from and what their inner child has gone through and how they're acting from a place of their inner child does not mean that we will become doormats and allow them to walk all over us, right? So it's really important to, number one, see the truth of the situation. So for example, for me, every time I feel something, or I'm feeling an emotion, or I'm feeling upset or sad or angry, or whatever my feelings are, if the other person does not validate them. So they say, oh, don't be like that. Oh my gosh, here we go again. You're a drama queen. Whatever they do to not validate. So whenever you feel a feeling and the other person does not validate it, so they have no sense of empathy. And I mean, a lot of people do this, and maybe you do this to other people. Maybe I do this to other people too. But when you see the other person really in a state that is their truth, that is the emotion that they're feeling in that moment, you probably would change your behavior not to hurt them. A person that is a difficult person and maybe a narcissist on the spectrum would not change their behavior. They would go on not validating you, calling you names, just like they're so cold. And here you are feeling maybe you had a bad day at work or someone said something to upset you. It doesn't matter. The reason doesn't matter. If someone doesn't validate your emotions, they probably are in that category of difficult person or narcissist. Now, the other thing to watch out for is their sense of grandiosity. Yeah, so narcissists are very self-absorbed people, and they tend to talk about themselves a lot. Now, difficult people, even if they're not narcissists, may really want your attention and the attention of everybody else, and they want to talk about themselves, and they're very self-absorbed. But they're not going to require special kind of treatment. If the person is a narcissist and a very difficult person, they're going to have this sense of entitlement that they deserve the best. And they need to be treated as special as it can be. Otherwise, you are doing something wrong. So are you with me? It's like, it's that is their entitlement. That is what they believe in. So the blame is then put on you if you don't treat them a certain way. The third thing that I want to talk about is the exploitation and how the narcissists often use others to gain something for their own good. And then that person is nothing to them after that. I don't know if you've been in that situation before where you thought this person, oh my gosh, they're so happy that you're in their life or you're working for them or that you're in this project with them or you have entered their life as a partner or whatever the case might be. And they kind of know how to charm you and they really put so much effort into pulling you in. And as soon as they pull you in and get what they wanted from you, then all of a sudden it's like the light switch turned off and you're nothing. So it's that kind of looking for something from you. And every time you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or that every time you're vulnerable with someone, that information or that vulnerability is then used against you in the future, you know that you're dealing with a narcissistic person. Okay, and then here's another sign to look for. Narcissistic people, difficult people like that, cannot take criticism. You cannot give them feedback, or else there will be so much drama and turmoil, and they have this ability to like turn things around, and in the end you're going to be confused why this whole thing even started. And so they cannot hear no, and they cannot hear any feedback or criticism. So when a narcissist hears any kind of criticism, or if they hear no to what they wanted, they're going to go very angry, and they're kind of like fragile in that way. There's no space in the relationship to like for you to have emotions or feelings, or for you to express anything. It's all about them. So that fragile line, when it's broken, when they hear something they don't like to hear, or they hear any kind of criticism, they lose it basically. And this can come out as lashes of anger, or it can come out as drama, turmoil. In any way, they will try to do anything to turn the tables and bring the focus and attention back to something you did wrong, or that this is all your problem. And this actually comes from that really fragile part of their inner child that feels very, very worthless. They have no self-worth. So you are threatening their entire self by saying no to them, or giving them criticism or feedback. So, my dears, I'm telling you this because if you feel like you are in a relationship with someone like that, for me, things didn't start to shift until the moment I came to realize and accept the reality that I was in a relationship like that. In my past relationship with my past partner, who was a complete psycho narcissist, I was trying so hard to give more, be kinder, be gentler. If I just gave more of myself, maybe things could change. And these are actually really dangerous behaviors around the narcissist, because that's what they count on. That's what they want you to do. And emotional and mental abuse of a narcissist is not to be taken lightly. It is very damaging. And it's not just going to damage the person in that moment. It's the damage. Actually, now research shows that it changes our brain. So the brain constantly now is going to think that you're in fight or flight for the rest of your life if you don't get out of there, and if you don't do something about it, even after you get out. So I'm telling you all this so that you can have awareness. Awareness is the number one key. Am I in a relationship with a difficult person? Am I in a relationship with a narcissist? Is this person, and it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, is this person in my life a narcissist? And just having the acceptance is going to release so much tension from your body. I remember when I was in that situation and I was in denial, and I actually didn't know what narcissist was. This was in my 20s. And I kept trying more and more, and trying harder and being kinder. And I knew deep down that there was something not right. That I was giving all different parts of myself, and things weren't good. And no matter how much I gave, it was never enough. This person kept taking. But I kept doing it because I didn't know what else to do, and I didn't know what was going on. And I remember that my skin started breaking out. And I have really great skin. And even when I was a teenager, I never had pimples or anything like that. It's just how my skin is. It's a blessing. And I had little pimples and rashes all over my body. And I was like, what is going on? And I remember questioning what is going on. And it wasn't until the moment I really came to do the research on what was going on emotionally and in this emotional abuse turmoil that the rashes left my body. Once I realized, I didn't even leave yet, but I realized what was going on. So the truth of what is going on for you or why this person is acting the way they are on its own is going to release something in your body. So that's really, really good. Awareness, knowing that this is happening, having the knowledge that a person like that is most likely never going to change. I mean, again, we have different parts of the spectrum, and maybe some are more aware and some are willing to get help. Maybe. And I hope that that might be true. But for me, in my journey and in my story, I'm at a point in my life that if I have an emotion and a feeling and something is happening in my reality and you don't validate that, because it's not for you to say, to deny my reality, my emotion, my life, then you're not going to be in my life. I'm at a point where I ask myself, take a breath. I can see people's energies and people's auras and fields. And beyond that, I ask myself, because my mind tries to lie to me anyways. Oh no, maybe this person's good. Maybe this is different. I said, in the hearts of my heart, do I think this person will save me if I am in trouble? If I am going to drown in the river or something horrible is going to happen, would they run and come and save my life? Would they risk their own life for me? And if the answer is no, this person is not going to be in my life. That's where I'm at with it. And so in your journey, maybe you're just learning about these people. Maybe you're just learning that there are people like this in the world. And maybe it's your mother that's like this, or your family member, or your whatever, father, or brother, and you can't really get rid of them. So can you create distance, and can you create some space so that you can have some tools to not lose yourself? I think that's the most important part, because these people know how to suck all of the energy out of you, how to manipulate your mind, your emotional well-being, everything, your physiology. And by the time you figure it out, it might be too late, because this being in a relationship with a narcissist has serious, really distressing, unpleasant consequences that are mental, emotional, and physiological. This is just what we know. Research shows this. Being in a relationship like that, especially with someone who's emotionally and mentally abusive, is very, very hard, because with emotional mental abuse, it's like air. It's like trying to grab air. You can't grab it. You know it's there, but you can't grab it. And for the person who is in that situation, it feels like that, because they just know that something is not right, and that they are emotionally exhausted, and that this is not right, but they can't prove it. Because often these people, the difficult person or the narcissist, they're very charming on the outside, and they only let their masks down and show all of themselves from just to really close people to them, or to people that are in intimate relationship with them. And so it's a very, very difficult situation to be in. And if you are in that situation, I want to really, really encourage you to reach out for help. Please don't try to do this by yourself. There is help out there. There are phone lines you can call, and I will be sure to put one underneath this podcast. And there are therapists that can help you later on. But if you are in the heat of the moment in that situation, this is a very dangerous situation to be in. So with that said, the bottom line is that not everyone is a narcissist. There are people who are self-absorbed. There are people who are difficult people. But know the level that you are willing to deal with, that you're willing to put up with. So just checking in with yourself and seeing, when I am in the presence of this person, do I feel better or do I feel worse? It's so simple. Just check in with yourself. If it's someone you don't live with, it's really easy to kind of do that kind of testing. If you go out for dinner with them or you go to their house and you come out and you just feel tired and exhausted and you're like, I didn't even do anything. I'm exhausted. Then you know that it's these people, because they have never learned to get their prana, their life force, from the pranic field, from the source, from their connection to spirituality. None of that. They've only learned manipulation and getting their prana from other people. And so they're like vampires. They tap into you and pull out all of your energy. So ask yourself, when I am with this person, do I feel better or worse? And if the answer is worse, I would really try and think about if this is worth it for you. There are many practices that can protect you. There are many practices that can clear and cleanse you after being in contact with someone like that I teach to people, that I work with people. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you really have to be in contact with this person? So I have put some of the tools that I use with my clients, and right below this podcast. And I've been sharing them on my social media, especially on Instagram. I like to share things on Instagram. And I'm just going to share them with you. So what you can do is, first, becoming aware. You can use a technique like the S.T.O.P technique, so that you can just bring yourself back to the awareness of your breath. The S.T.O.P technique is, S is for stop whatever you're doing. T is take 3 deep breaths. O is observe how your body feels. So drop down into your body. And P is proceed with kindness and compassion, specifically first for yourself. Yeah. So when you come to this state of awareness and you're like, no, I'm really coming from a place of compassion and kindness, but it's not changing the situation, because a normal person, I hate to use the term normal, but you know what I mean. A normal person, even if you said something wrong, or if you did something wrong and they see you, that you are trying to communicate with them, they would stop and they would try to understand you. But a narcissist will not do that. And so if you see that keeps going on even after you are in your body, you are in your truth, you are in your compassion and kindness, then you can observe and see what's happening with this person. Often, they would have some kind of manipulative behavior. So there are 4 types of controlled drama in a narcissistic person's life. And one of them is being nice and manipulative. So they can be really nice and manipulate you. Being nasty and manipulative. They can be aloof and withdraw just to get what they want. And they can play the victim. Poor me. Look at this. You did this to me again. You are this and you are that. Because of you, I'm feeling this way. And so if that keeps going on, take a step back, go back to your breath, maybe go for a walk, step away. Don't take it personally. See that this is coming from the weakness of the inner child of this person. For whatever worthlessness they feel, how empty they must feel inside of themselves to do that to you, to point fingers, to call you names, whatever it is that they're doing. Do not get engaged with their drama. one of the worst things that you can do with a narcissist who tries to manipulate the situation and pull you in is you actually get pulled in and you start trying to explain yourself and try to make things better. That's what they want. So that's now you're upset, you know? So I know it's really difficult, but can you practice defenselessness, practice being passive, practice being in your Buddha self, in your cool, chill self. Do whatever you need to do. Give yourself whatever you need to give yourself, going for a walk, doing a pranayama, stepping away, removing yourself from this situation and this person to come into a state of sattvic, state of balance. Even if you really have to fight to get to that state, I want you to remove yourself from reacting in any way. Walk away if necessary. And once you walk away and you sit with yourself, see if you can see the situation as an opportunity for growth for yourself. Resonate with the person with compassion, but you do not have to stay there. You can walk away. So, my dears, I hope that you find these steps helpful. And depending on what your situation is and who the difficult person is in your life, there are different action steps that you can take. And I hope that you do reach out for help and get, sometimes getting another person's perspective or view on the situation can bring a lot of enlightenment and aha moments into your life. Because if we're inside a situation, sometimes for all of us, it's hard to see our own situation. And we often need that other person, that guide or mentor or teacher or therapist to kind of see it as a third perspective and remind us what is actually happening. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away today, if nothing else, is please accept the reality that you're only in control of yourself, your own behavior, your own emotions, and that you absolutely do not have to put up with other people's drama and manipulation. And it's not your responsibility to make other people happy or fulfilled or to feed their entitlement. You can absolutely remove yourself from these types of situations, these types of people, and refuel your energetic field with your own beautiful light and wisdom and prana. There is no amount of kind of giving away your abilities and light that makes it not returnable. It's always the pure parts of your essence is always there anyways. And so once you remember to bring that back, it comes back really, really fast. And I hope that once you get there to that point, you can see the magic that once you are aligned with your true self and your light is flowing back into you from the crown of your head to your tailbone, and your prana is flowing through you and it's connected to the heavens and the earth, and you are in alignment, that nothing else actually matters. And that other people can see your light shining and they will follow you, and the right kind of people will show up in your life. You do not have to give parts of yourselves away just in order to have people around you or to be in a relationship or to be liked or people please. Like, you don't have to do that in order to have a fulfilling life. It's actually the complete opposite of that. With that, my dears, I hope you found this helpful. If this episode triggered something in you, I am always available to talk, to answer your messages or questions. So please go ahead and comment below or message me on one of the social media platforms. or my email, contact@parismokshader.com, my first and last name.com. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and other episodes. I'm so endlessly grateful for your presence here. Please go ahead and subscribe, forward the episodes to people that you think might benefit from them. I do this work from the bottom of my heart, and it is the fruit of all the years that I have studied and I have experienced people's behaviors and physical, psychological, and emotional health and well-being. And you are the reason why this work can be spread into the people that may need it. So thank you so much. And I am going to announce a very exciting platform soon where all the episodes and all the lessons and all the programs will be on. So please, if you are not on my email list, go ahead and click on the link below, www.parismokshader.com, and enter your email so that you can be kept up to date. Love you guys.